Hello, fellow comic book lovers, collectors, and aficionados. Vin Crew here with his top indie and variant pickups. This is like 25 of them, I think. So magazines are thrown in here too. If I have enough time, I'm going to go over my 2018 list as well as my 2019 list. So let's get going. I got a lot to do here. We've got Mysterious Suspense Stories, number 1. This is the first time The Question headlines his own book. I'm a big Question fan, Ditko fan, so I'm happy to have that book. Once again, these may not have the most value, but they're books I've been wanting and happy to acquire. This is 3D Zone 16 featuring the Space Vixens. I'm a huge Dave Stevens fan, and this is one of the more coveted books of Dave Stevens, and this does have the glasses in it. All right. This is Captain America number 1, the 1 in 50 Greg Hildebrand variant. Just a beautiful, beautiful book. Happy to acquire that. Shout out to Koi Cakes on this one if he watches. All right. Alan Moore Supreme number 41, I believe this is. This is the American Entertainment exclusive. And the reason this is in here is that there's just no question to me. Alan Moore is the greatest storyteller in modern comic books. And to me, it's my own opinion. And to get an Alan Moore signature is near impossible. He just doesn't sign. He really doesn't have anything to do with comics anymore. So this gave me that, as this is an Alan Moore signature right here. And yeah, Supreme 41. It's the Wizard mail-in. So very, very happy to have that book. Betty and Me number 16. This is one of the double entendre covers that's extremely sought after, and this is arguably the most expensive of them. This is the famous beat-off issue. This is Archie, did you have any trouble rescuing me? I sure did, Betty. I had to beat off 3 other guys. So happy to have that one in the collection. Catwoman 75 variant. Shout out to Master Splinter. I got this from him in a trade. And just I like yellow covers. I'm a sucker for yellow covers. And this whole Catwoman series is somewhat sought after now with the Adam Hughes long run on it. So to find the variant to 75 was pretty cool. All right, speaking of Master X, I was able to actually acquire this too. I'm a sucker for these homage covers, and I was able to pick up 2 of them. This is, and once again, it's a yellow cover. This is the variant to Darkwing Duck number 7 and Darkwing Duck number 8. These are detective cover swipes and just extremely, no, this is Batman number 1. And very happy to have these. So thank you, Evan, for this one. And I was able to get this one recently. All right, THB, just a book done by Paul Pope. And if you're a Paul Pope fan, you know how coveted and how hard it is to find a first print THB. It's a rather thick book too. And be careful, there are all multiple printings of this book, but extremely happy to have this. I think OP or Arlado Perlez, I know I butchered that, picked up one of these recently too. So, yeah, Batman 700, the DC 75th anniversary variant. This is the 1 in 50, I believe. Mike Mignola, 1 in 75 Mike Mignola variant. So I'm a big sucker for these DC 75th anniversaries. Funny Aminals, number 1. It's not animals, it's Aminals. And what makes this book coveted is that this is the first appearance of Mouse in comics. And if you're not familiar with Mouse, shame on you. That was a book that was written in about World War II in the eyes of mice and cats. And it's very, very well done. And this is the first time that this shows up in comic format, is in Funny Aminals number 1. All right, speaking of funny, funny book number 1. This is the first appearance of Cherry Pop-Tart in comics. And if you're an Underground fan, you know how coveted Cherry Pop-Tart is. And to find her first appearance is not an easy task. And this book here can be quite hard to locate. And if you do find it, people typically want a lot of money for it. All right, Maximum Carnage. With all the Venom hype and Carnage hype and Spidey hype, this book is a sleeper in my opinion. This book here, it came with the NES game and Maximum Carnage, and just a hard book to find. So, all right. Another book I was able to acquire through Master X Splinter was Akira number 38. This is the last issue of Akira, and if you're not familiar with Akira, people recognize this as one of the best manga opuses done in comic format, and it's just extremely coveted, especially the last issue. People can ask quite a bit of money, and they do sell for quite a bit of money too. So thank you. I appreciate this, Master X. Got this book with a trade through Yanni Gogolak. If you watch this, thank you, Yanni. I appreciate that. Legacies number 8 variant. This has got the Dark Side miniskirt in it. Where that's an interesting position for that leg table to be in too. So happy to have that. It's a 1 in 25 variant. Strangers in Paradise number 1. This was definitely on my 2018 want list. This is the Terry Moore masterpiece that he did. And this is a first print. Knights of the Dinner Table. Another shout out to OP. He jogged my memory about this book. This book is limited to 3,000 copies, I believe it is, and it was self-produced, and this is a combination of the news strips that they did for their RPG games, and just extremely coveted, hard to find. So, yeah, very happy to have this book. All right. This came from KKN Comics. I haven't seen much of you, Mike. I don't know if you're out there or not still, but if you are, thank you for this. I picked this up off of him. This is the Virgin retailer incentive to the Immortal Iron Fist 18, I believe it is. Just extremely, I love this cover. Shout out to TiVo also, Lords of the Long Box. I know he loves this cover too. So very happy to have this book. Yeah, it is number 17. Johnny, the Homicidal Maniac, number 1. I was able to upgrade my first print. This is in very nice condition, and I got it at a real reasonable price. And if you're familiar with Johnny, the Homicidal Maniac, you know just how coveted this is and how hard it is to find a first print. I think there were 27 printings of this book, so... All right, Wolverine 102.5, the Fleer card comic. And it was also, I think, through Wizard. I think it was a Fleer Wizard combination. So this book here easily sells for over $100 a raw every time. Just recently picked it up. Very happy to have it. All right, Extremely Silly Comics. Number 1 came out in 1986. This book here is very hard to find and can sell for $50. And the reason being is that this is the first parody of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. People like to have this if they're a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle fan and collector. So happy to have that. Wits End number 3. This is the first appearance of... oh my God, of Mr. A. God, as I get a brain fart again. Mr. A. First appearance of Mr. A was Steve Ditko. This is the precursor to The Question, which makes his appearance in Blue Beetle number 1. But this predates that. The reason that this didn't catch on is that back in the 60s, this character was very cutting edge and very hard for the times. There was no ambiguity. There was no gray area with this character. It was either black or white, and he was not afraid to dispatch villains very, very quickly. And so this kind of book ends with that. This is Mr. A. This is the first time he headlines his book himself. So happy to have that. All right, Spiro Comics number 1071 and 1072. This is the first, this came out in 1956. This is the first appearance of these guys right here, the Smurfs. So very, very, and if you're familiar with this book, you know how hard it is to find these books in any kind of condition. These are French magazines, so happy to have that. Vampirilla number 1 out of the Harris Comics, I believe this is. No, Warren, excuse me, Warren. And first appearance of Vampirilla. Can't believe I was able to get this book this year. And then the last one is Miss Magazine number 1. This is before this book came out, they decided to depower and demasculate, I guess, if that's a correct word, for Wonder Woman. And by doing that, it took away a lot of the hero that the girls had back in the 60s. The only real hero the girls had, for the most part, especially in comics. And so Gloria Steinem wrote to DC and discussed what she wanted to do with this. And DC was okay with it, and this had such a success to it that this is the first time that they showed Wonder Woman in her traditional outfit, because at this point she was in this white jumpsuit, and she was running like a floral shop and was a model and stuff, and gave up her powers. And this book helped to create such a fervor that DC brought back the original Wonder Woman that we know and love. So yeah, so that's it. And now I'm going to go on to a recap of my 2019 or 2018 and 2019 list. So let's start with the 2018 list. Not sure how well you can see this, but all right, I did pretty well this year. My number 1 here was Justice League 1 or any Brave and Bold, and I was able to pick up a Brave and Bold 30. Next one was Green Lantern 1 or any Showcase, and I was able to pick up the Green Lantern 1. Next one I was not able to get, which was a Goon number 1 Avatar, so that's still on my want list. Number 4 was ASM, Amazing Spider-Man 10, 18, 20, and 25, and I was able to pick up all of those. X-Men 2 or 3, and I was able to pick up both of those. Batman 139 or Detective 298, I was able to pick up both of those. Superboy 68, I was able to pick up that one. FF 12 and 25, I got half of that. I got FF 12 or 25, so 12 still on my list. Journey into Mystery 112, was able to pick that up. And then Strangers in Paradise number 1. Then there was a couple other ones that I had just thrown out here as either like runner-ups or books that I would never ever able to get. And I was able to pick up 2 of those out of this list here. That included Albedo 2, Graphic Fantasy number 1, Cerebus 1, Adventure 247, and Avengers 4. And the 2 I was able to pick up were Vampirilla number 1 and Knights of the Dinner Table number 1. So I think I did pretty well there. So now let's see what my list that I would like to have for 2019. All right. So I wasn't able to acquire the Goon number 1, so I'm going to put that back on the want list here, the Avatar. Amazing Spider-Man, I would like to pick up 11, 12, 16, and 22. If I can pick up those 4, I would have everything from issue 10 until it ends. So those are the 4 I'd like to hone in on this year. Fantastic Four, 12, 18, 16, 21, and 23. Yeah, that's going to be tough to get those. But we'll see if any of those and if I can. I mean, it's just tough to acquire early FFs now. It's not the best time of the year, but they're still going on the list. Avengers 2 or 4, I would like to pick up. Brave and the Bold 29 or a JL1. So that'd be the second appearance of the Justice League of America or their first ongoing book. Flash 123, that's just that iconic Flash of Two Worlds cover. Tough to get that. I'd like to get either a Wonder Woman 675th anniversary or an X-23 vampire variant. Both of those books are so expensive, and I just have a threshold that I try to maintain with my variants. Blue Beetle #1. That's the first appearance of the Question. I wanted that book, and it's just gotten so expensive, man. I don't know. I just don't want to pay the kind of money they're asking for it. Amazing Spider-Man Annual #1. I didn't put that up with the other issues because the annual is separate from the issues, you know, the ongoing issues, and it's so expensive with the first appearance of the Sinister Six. And then I would like to get, and number 10 would be any of the Hulk original 6-issue series. So, I don't know. This is a pretty tough, aggressive list, at least for me. We'll see if I can acquire any of these or how close I can get to it. But yeah, so that's my 2019 want list. So yeah, so thank you for watching these, and I thank you for taking my journey with me as you always do. I really appreciate it. This is Vin Crew signing off. And lastly, if you got any leads for any of these books on my 2019 list, let me know. I would definitely like to talk to you about them.